How did Salt Bae go from being one of the most popular and beloved social media stars on the planet to becoming the butt end of jokes by millions online, including those from celebrities and food critics of his stupidly overpriced menu? From social media stardom to now facing a FIFA ban barring him from even attending matches as a spectator. Could this dramatic shift be traced back to a single incident, or was it a slow descent from the start? Born in 1983 in Turkey, Nusret Gökçe, otherwise known as Salt Bae, was raised in a poverty-stricken household with his father working away in the mines to provide for their family. Instead of dreaming of academic pursuits, by the age of 12 he found himself stepping into the world of butchery as an apprentice. Yet unexpectedly, this new discovery in the culinary domain sparked a deep-seated passion within him, offering him a sense of profound satisfaction and peace. With age, his curiosity and desire to learn more about culinary arts and the intricacies of restaurant management led him to travel in search for a deeper meaning within his new passion. His journey took him across numerous countries, working various jobs on ships, in kitchens, and as a server, all in a quest to gain more experience and a deeper understanding of the culinary art. Upon returning to Turkey after spending 3 months in the United States, he reached out to Ferit Sahenk, one of Turkey's wealthiest businessmen, with his unique take of a new kind of steakhouse. His vision from the start was to become one of the best chefs and most renowned restaurants in the world. Impressed by the idea, Ferit Sahenk agreed to the investment, entrusting soon-to-be Salt Bae to deliver on his vision. This marked the beginning of his now famous chain of restaurants, a venture that quickly lived up to his lofty predictions. The restaurant initially distinguished itself by offering massive portions of meats and other accompaniments at strikingly affordable prices. For roughly $70, a group of 3 could indulge in quite the feast, which included 3 appetizers, 3 main courses, that also came with 3 desserts, as well as any soft drinks and coffees. This was an offer that positioned his restaurant as an undeniable value proposition. Despite the initial success, which led to the opening of his restaurants across many countries, Salt Bae's plan was just getting started. Although his plan was to become a powerful multimillionaire, he was in pursuit of greater ambitions. He had set his sights beyond Turkey and the United States, opting for Dubai as the next frontier to conquer. A city synonymous with opulence, where spending $100K on footwear is not entirely unheard of. It was precisely in this lavish environment where he would make his fortune. To do so, he decided to change everything about the restaurants, the presentation, the ambiance, and most critically, the pricing structure underwent a dramatic transformation upon the inauguration of his Dubai venture. Now, the essence of the food remains unchanged, boasting the same high quality and generous portions, but the prices completely skyrocketed. When you could afford a meal for 3 people that included appetizers, main entrees, and desserts, as well as coffee for only $70, well, those 3 people could now barely afford 3 glasses of Diet Coke for the same price. But to ensure the people would now consider his establishments as luxurious ones, the pricing policy across a global restaurant chain had to maintain a consistent brand image. This led to a price increase that wasn't isolated to his Dubai location, but became a standard across all of his steakhouses, causing widespread confusion. Regular clients accustomed to reasonable pricing found themselves unable to wrap their heads around the $500 or $600 for a meal, comprising merely of an appetizer, main entree, and desserts. And despite the backlash from a budget-conscious clientele, his social media presence continued to thrive. Despite the critics, he continued to attract a different type of audience. Influencers, celebrities, and those with a proclivity for an extravagant lifestyle were simply seeking to embellish their Instagram feeds. They were captivated by his theatrical meat-cutting performances, especially the iconic salt-sprinkled gesture that cascaded down his forearm, eventually seasoning the dish in a manner that became synonymous with his brand. This particular gimmick is what led to him being known as Salt Bae and becoming one of the top memes of 2017. This widely circulated across social media platforms and played a pivotal role in his rapid ascent to wealth, having amassed a nearly $100 million net worth in a relatively short amount of time. Freshly unrestrained by financial or geographical limitations, he decided to expand his empire from Dubai to new countries like the United States. This expansion was accompanied by an aggressive pricing strategy that pushed the boundaries of extravagance. It's commonly believed that what makes dining at these upscale restaurants so expensive is the extravagant dishes, such as those garnished with real gold leaf that we see being served to some celebrities, in reality, everything is objectively overpriced. I mentioned paying $70 for 3 Diet Cokes earlier. Well, with his expansion came new prices where you could end up paying nearly $60 for a glass of water, even 50 euros for a small serving of fries, and these aren't even the gold-coated fries, just regular salted fries. Yet despite the exorbitant prices, people continue to flock to his establishments. At this point, you might be thinking to yourself that these are ridiculous prices to ask of people, and that he should be ashamed of himself for even charging this much. But Salt Bae started from scratch and has every right to capitalize on those willing to shell out for these sky-high prices, whether they're independently wealthy or saved up for 6 months just to film an Instagram video in his restaurant. I personally don't see any value here, but to each their own. After all, this man went from being a butcher and a cook, as well as a waiter and possibly other jobs, to an immensely successful businessman. It's a true rags to riches success story, at least until you learn about the darker aspects of his operations. It was alleged that Salt Bae had a tendency to keep all the tips meant for his waitstaff for himself. Sometimes he would hand them a single note at the end of the night without disclosing the total amount of tips collected, essentially depriving his staff of their rightful earnings. If any employee dared to complain, they were simply let go. In a restaurant where bills can easily reach $8,000, $10,000 at a time, tips were significant and not just a mere $5 that goes missing. This allegedly became so widespread that he was fined for withholding tips and faced penalties of over $230,000, which was roughly the amount of tips he kept for himself across a number of his restaurants. Additionally, he's been accused of not paying his chefs for overtime work in more than just one of his several locations. Now, why would someone so successful resort to these types of actions? Another major concern within his establishments is the lack of definitive pricing on the menu. While it's not uncommon in some high-end restaurants to either provide a customer with a price-fixed menu or to omit visible prices altogether, it operates under the assumption that you know what you're getting into by dining there. You're considered part of a certain elite, fully aware that you're going to spend a significant amount on your meal. This practice, while perhaps intended to convey a sense of exclusivity and luxury, instead raises questions about transparency and the overall dining experience in his restaurants. This discrepancy led to more than one uncomfortable scandals. For instance, in England, a group of 4 quite highly successful individuals who frequently attended upscale restaurants decided to visit one of the high-end Nusret establishments. They indulged in various snacks and notably several bottles of wine, specifically the 2023 vintage Petrus. The group, being accustomed to ordering expensive wine in restaurants, they expected a bill at most around $14,000 for such wine. Now, this wine typically sells for between $5,000 and $6,000 a bottle in most comparable dining establishments. However, they were in for more than just typical dad-type shock when first seeing the check due to Salt Bae's notoriously unreasonable price inflation. Their bill amounted to just over 45,000 euros. And this is no surprise considering that Salt Bae's London location has been particularly criticized, ranking near the bottom among the city's restaurants on TripAdvisor, with countless negative reviews highlighting poor quality and poor service. Instances of customers being overcharged for items like gold-covered steaks and encounters involving law enforcement over billing disputes happened consistently. And this is not the only location where people have complained about their bill. A customer that goes by the name of Dwayne Miranda dined at Salt Bae Steakhouse in Miami. Miranda ordered what he believed were 2 standard tomahawk ribeye steaks priced at $275 each for the table. However, there must have been some significant misunderstanding regarding the order. Instead of receiving the standard tomahawk steaks, the table was served 2 golden tomahawk steaks. When it came time to pay, Miranda and his party were flabbergasted to find that the bill was far more than they had anticipated. Now, the golden tomahawk steaks were priced at a staggering amount, leading to a total bill that exceeded $5,000. Miranda claimed that they had not ordered the golden option and was under the impression that what was served was the normal presentation for their order. To add salt to the wound, pun without a doubt intended, Salt Bae has been involved with playing host to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro at one of his luxurious locations. Numerous photos and videos surfaced online showing Maduro feasting on lavish cuts of meat carved and salted in Salt Bae's signature flashy style. While back in Venezuela, the country was and continues to be in the midst of a severe economic crisis, one of which that has resulted in widespread food shortages shortages and hunger among much of the working class. The display of extravagance did not sit well with many, especially considering that at the time, a significant portion of the Venezuelan population remained struggling to afford food on a regular basis. Reports have been circulating of extreme weight loss across the Venezuelan populace due to these shortages, making the sight of their leader enjoying such an opulent meal super unsettling. The latest controversy surrounding Salt Bae and what's truly putting him in a tight spot is quite ironic, given that social media, which initially contributed to his rise, is now playing a role in his downfall. A particularly cringeworthy moment came after Argentina's World Cup victory, when Salt Bae, seemingly driven by an almost pathological need to be at the center of attention, felt an uncontrollable urge to present himself as part of the winning moment. Videos and images quickly spread across social media showing Salt Bae attempting to get close to Lionel Messi, arguably the night's most sought-after player, for a photograph. Messi appeared uninterested and dismissive, which did not go unnoticed by fans and viewers worldwide. Despite neither being a footballer nor a native from Argentina, he managed to get closer to the World Cup trophy than many of the actual team players. Now, it's important to note that at that time, not only was it prohibited to be on the pitch, but FIFA rules also restrict who can touch the World Cup trophy to the winners and a very select group of individuals, a group that certainly does not include Salt Bae. The incident sparked widespread criticism and backlash on social media, with many accusing Salt Bae of using the occasion to promote his own celebrity status rather than respecting the players and the tournament's integrity. The fact that he managed to get onto the pitch and interact with the trophy raised questions about security and protocol breaches during such a high-profile event. FIFA's response to the incident, including unfollowing Salt Bae on social media and launching an investigation into how he gained access to the field and the players in such a manner. This response highlighted the seriousness in which the incident was viewed by the governing body of world football. Despite all of these scandals and accusations, Salt Bae doesn't seem like he's going to stop anytime soon. He recently announced his new project, the opening of a new restaurant for 2025 in Spain. He's chosen Ibiza for his biggest project yet, investing over 100 million euros for not just one, but a total of 4 restaurants, 51 apartment units, and parking for 80 vehicles. Salt Bae visited the construction site in December 6th of last year when the project first broke ground. He posted various videos and pictures from the site, boasting, eating, dancing, drinking, sleeping, enjoying the lifestyle of my new project in Ibiza. Named Nusret Residence and Restaurants, the complex will be near the Ibiza Grand Hotel. Will this be a new beginning for the Turkish chef, or is this going to be another scandal to his mounting list of concerns? I'd love to hear what you think down in the comments below.